Welcome back to our new series celebrating the full release of Captain of Industry. We're playing on a very cool looking map, Insula Mortis, also a big map with a lot of challenges. Follow this series to learn how to master the game or just enjoy this fun ride. Let's dive in. And it's already time for episode 6. Just before we dive in, a quick recap on what we did. And in particular, in the last episode, I mentioned a couple of times Death Spiral, we were in trouble. I want to explain a bit more because I think some of you may not have gotten exactly what was happening. Basically, when I was busy building this magnificent new power factory, which by the way moved us from something like 3 megawatts to 11 megawatts in total and can be easily expanded even further, I was busy looking at this and didn't really realize something was happening with my resource on the left, which is definitely my fault because I think this UI is perfect to see problems, but yeah, clearly I wasn't paying enough attention because my fuel, which is the most important resource in the game, was actually going down very quickly. And this is very dangerous because if you don't have any diesel, then your trucks can't move around. And if your trucks can't move around, you can't solve the fact that your diesel production is not working anymore. Now my diesel production was very low, not because I was not producing enough crude oil, but because I had no coal at all. And at the point where we saw it, our diesel reserve were very low and our coal reserve were at zero, literally at zero. So that was a big problem because also coal is used in many other places. So I had to immediately sort of stop all the other places. For example, over here for the copper, I completely stopped it. We stopped it over here for the iron, we stopped it over here for the bricks, but we had to stop the coal everywhere. And my initial assumption at that point was just that my coal production was not keeping up with the consumption. That, my consumption, let's say, had increased so much that the production was not enough. So what I did is I went to my coal control tower and I added a lot more excavator and trucks, and I felt, okay, I should be good. Coal is going to go back up and then this will restart and then everything will be fine. But it wasn't fine at all. And that's why it was a bit of a death spiral because I didn't realize the problem was way deeper. The actual problem was that all of my excavators, even if I added more excavators, were working on this mountain over here. Some were working over there, but even some were working there where there's no coal at all unless you go quite deep, as you can see over there. And even the one that were working over there, yeah, sure, they were getting a bit of coal, but they were mostly getting dirt and rocks. So basically the productivity of this excavator over here was basically zero and over there was quite low. So even if I added more excavator, it didn't solve the problem at all. The problem actually got even worse because I had more excavators and more trucks, and therefore it was consuming even more diesel to make this happen without getting me any coal. So obviously quite soon I realized that, and then I solved it by starting to go deep. Instead of continuing to go into the mountain, we started to go down because this is pure coal. Over here I'm getting almost 100% of coal. This is not going to be forever, but for now, this has solved the problem. As you can see, we have more than 1000 of coal, so that's not a problem. By the way, I just added over here a couple of loose storage for coal. This way the trucks can just deliver there instead of going all the way over here for a small delivery, and then we can have some trucks that go over there. So hopefully you understand a bit better what happened and how I solved it and what was this death spiral that I mentioned. So in the last episode, as I said, we really increased our electricity production over here. We started to mine coal a lot more. We also dropped some rocks over here because I want to really finish this bridge, get into the limestone over there. All of our research lab level 2 have really started to work over here, so that's great. We expanded the forest and started to cut some trees. I just placed over here 2 unit storage for the wood, a bit similar to the coal. Instead of having to deliver the wood, very far, now I can have the truck that is assigned, to this tree harvester deliver over there, and then when we need a lot of wood, then we can go all the way, because otherwise this truck was going back and forth there. Now I'm also restarting, now that we have solved a bit of coal problem, I'm restarting to dig this mountain over here to make it flat. We also continue to expand our city, and we also started to improve our ship. We have some guns now in the front and in the rear. We can also start adding more armor if we want. This will cost us some iron. We don't have that much, so I'm gonna wait a bit. But with this, we were able to start killing some pirates. We actually killed the first pirate over here, found the new damaged cargo ships. So now we're gonna continue. I would really love to find actually the coal mine. That would be, good, because I'm a bit worried over there. This is going to quickly get us in trouble, in particular because there's so much water on both sides. I'm a bit worried of going too deep. Then we also do need to be careful about our food production. Our food production is going down right now. We have to look at it. We have also unlocked the settlement power, and we should definitely do it. It's this transformer over here. It will cost a bit of gold parts that we don't have, but as soon as we get them, I want to make sure that we build it, because this will give electricity to our people, and therefore this will also give us some unity. It will actually give us 1.2, which is quite a lot, so I love it. It will cost us obviously some electricity, but remember we're making a lot more electricity than what we're using right now, so it shouldn't be a problem at all. Then there's definitely a couple of other things I want to do in this episode. Probably make this copper production a lot more optimized, a lot bigger and cleaner. Go into advanced diesel using the distillation stage 1 and 2, because remember this will have a better productivity. For the 54 crude oil, currently we're getting 24 diesel. With this one, for the same 54, we would get 36 diesel, so definitely a lot better. And maybe we'll also make this mine a bit better, start to put some walls. Don't hesitate to share in the comments below if you have any questions, thoughts, requests. I'd love to hear. But otherwise, let's just dive right in. And here it is, a nice victory. We didn't even lose any health. Love it. And we found the wheat seeds. This is great. With this, in our research, you see this research over here requires two things. It requires the research lab level 2, we have it, and it requires the wheat seeds, we have found them. So with that, we'll be able to add it to our queue and unlock it. Let's actually do it right away because I do like food. You know, it will give me more unity, can't complain about this. So all of the water harvester that were here, they're not here anymore. I've moved them over here, for the only reason that I needed the space. And why do we need the space? Well, because we need to clean this mess, right? So this is what we have over here. To be honest, this is not very complex, especially the bottom over here is exactly the same as what we have for iron, but now it's for copper. So the only difference is this one is a copper ore instead of an iron ore. But otherwise, this is basically the same, where at level 0 you have two of these conveyor belts for the copper, because remember this is 24, so 48 and then 48 again. Then at level 1 you have the coal, because coal is only 9, so that's totally fine. And at the level 2 you have the slag output that's going back this way. Then it gets a bit different, because remember for the copper we need to first get some impure copper and then we need to transform it into pure copper with the copper electrolysis. So in this case, instead of having the two metal caster, you know, in a vertical line, we're gonna have them in a horizontal line. And the key reason we can do that is because the molten channel is actually 120 per minute. So we can put all four into one channel, and that's what we're doing over here. It starts there, and it goes there, and then it actually links to those metal caster. First over here, then there, then continues, go all the way around for 4 more casters. And then all of those casters are producing, you know, the impure copper in the middle. Yes, I know this is not perfect because this is only 60. And the reality is right now we're going to produce more than 60, but the reality is also I'm not going to build all 4 right now. I don't need all 4, so I think we'll be fine. And by the time I need all 4, I think we will have conveyor level 2, and therefore we'll be able to transport without any problem all in the middle. And all in the middle, it goes this way and goes into 4 of these copper electrolysis. So at level 0, we have, you know, the impure copper. At level 1, we have the pipe to bring water. Water is over here. You know, I'm delivering it there. Then I have this storage goes over there. And then last but not least, you know, all of the actual copper that we're producing will go there into those 2 unit storage. So that should work pretty fine. The only problem is we're very low on gold parts, so I think we're gonna have to wait a bit before we build this whole thing, because if you look at this, this is, that's not too much, it's actually only 76 gold parts, so we should get that pretty quickly. It is a lot of construction part, but once again, I won't need all of it. You know, you can say I'm basically going to build half like this, so it's 300, 400 parts, we have that. But again, let's wait a bit to have a bit more gold parts. And in the meantime, we have killed 1 more pirate and discovered 1 more damaged cargo ship, so we could have so many, but we still haven't found the coal mine. Now I mentioned that we also want to get into distillation stage 1 and stage 2 as soon as possible. But before, let me show you a quick layout if you want a lot of basic distillers. As always, I will put it on my Discord community so you can find it there, but basically it is this layout over here. Where over here, this is your crude oil. Your crude oil is going to arrive. This layout over here is for 4 basic distillers, so you're talking about almost 100 of diesel per minute. It will require though a lot of crude oil, right? This is 54 times 4, which means this is why we have so many pipes. because each pipe is limited to 60, right? So we basically need one pipe dedicated to each basic distiller, and that's also why we have two of those fluid storage. This way we can have two exits for this one, two exits for that one. In terms of where they are, this one is at level 0 and level 1, and this one at 2 and 3. And then on the other side, we're gonna have the coal that's going to arrive and then be distributed at level 0. This will also create quite a bit of exhaust, so we have 4 of these smokestack, and on top of this will create wastewater. So that's why we have the wastewater going this side, and you need one of those liquid dump, to throw it into the water. And then you get all of this diesel over here. But yeah, this is what I call the basic diesel. So instead, let's move into the advanced diesel with our distillation stage 1 and 2. Talking about diesel, I'm also going to move this because now we don't really need it. It's a backup. So instead of being, close to everything, I'm gonna put it completely out of the way over here. Another battle, and we found something great. We found the corn seed. So with this, we'll be able to get another food. But we also found some pirates that are stronger. This one over here, 2 ships, 170. This is too strong for us. We also started to give electricity to our people. This is almost 800 kilowatts, so it's quite a bit. But this is 1.2 of unity, so definitely love it. Now that we've restarted making some gold parts, we have more than 400 at this point. I have also fully built this. We hadn't built some of these over here. So we've built all of them, but they're also paused, right? Half of it is paused. So total production of electricity or capacity, maximum capacity is almost 20 megawatts, but the reality is it's half of this because half of it is paused. But when we need it, we'll be able to do it. And now that we have all of these parts, let's definitely build this whole thing over here. In particular, let's focus first on those belts, on those 2 over there. We're gonna build those 4 over here and 2 there. Then we're gonna build all of those depots. And we need also all of those lines there and the one in the middle here. And then lastly, this line over here. So we're gonna get coal, we have copper, and all of this going to go into this. And we forgot also this one, sorry. And this one there. Okay, so now this has restarted, perfect. So we're making some molten. Let's see this molten go out. Here it is, the molten is coming out. Then the copper goes into these. They're gonna start making some impure copper. Love those animations, by the way. It's easy to forget how beautiful the game actually is. Now that the other one is working, we can also delete this one. Okay, so now that our new copper production is up and running, we have a lot more copper. Our electronics are growing very quickly. We should turn our attention to advanced diesel, right? But before, let's look at the map because we've unlocked a couple of new things. In particular, we have found the first mine on the world map. Unfortunately, it's sulfur. That's not really what I wanted. I'm looking for coal right now. We have also found more pirates, as you can see. I started to dig copper underground, so that's also gonna be a challenge soon. I'm a bit worried there too. The good thing though is that this bridge is done, so I think in the next episode we'll be able to start getting into this limestone. But before we start playing with distillation stage 1 and 2, I just wanted to show you that I've also expanded a lot my oil pumps. We definitely won't need that many, but I wanted to fit as many as possible, and in particular also because now that we have those pipe level 2 that can transport 200, we can actually have 6 on one pipe. So with this we have 6 over there, 6 over there, 6 over there, and 6 over here. So that's basically 4 inputs pipe. So 2 of these fluid storage, and right now I've connected this fluid storage to our old production, but of course now we'll be able to connect it to the new production, which is over here. I'll put as always of course the blueprint on the Discord community, but indeed you can see over here a sort of a bit more advanced. It is far from perfect. We are not using, for example, the boiler gas that we just unlocked, we're just using the normal boiler. But this will work. This will definitely be more impactful already. And in the future, we can make it even better. So what is happening? Well, we have the inputs over here. Obviously, the crude oil, as I just mentioned, let's actually connect it. Then we're gonna need some coal and some water just for this boiler. This is only needed for the boiler over here, so that's not too bad, that's not too hard. This boiler will then create some steam high and some exhaust. The exhaust just goes there. and the steam will go at level 0. This is this pipe over here at level 0, which will be connected to all buildings. It will be connected over here, it will also be connected there, and similarly in the middle over here, right, it's connected there and connected there. Then the crude oil is actually going at level 2, this is a level 2 pipe, so 200 per minute, and then dropping over there into all of those stage 1. So we're getting the crude oil and the steam high. We're going to create medium oil, this comes out there and goes directly into this one. So that's a very easy one. Then we have the heavy oil that is on this side there. And then lastly, we have the sour water over here. So the heavy oil will actually go to the front, while the sour water will actually go to the back at level 1. So recap, level 0 is steam, level 1 is sour water, level 2 is crude oil. And it does the same for obviously all the others. Then it goes into stage 2 as we said, right? The stage 2 will take medium oil plus a bit more steam, which is why we have this one on the side, to make the diesel and light oil. Light oil is actually in the front, and this will be at level 0, also going all the way over here. And we have the diesel that is on this side there. This one goes at level 1 and goes back into this fluid storage over here. So the byproducts that we're creating right now are the sour water, the heavy oil, and the light oil. I'm putting all of these on this side because later on we can actually do things with them. But right now, to start this production as quickly as possible, we are actually not going to do anything with them. The sour water will actually go all the way back to this liquid dump that we had already before. I could have put it closer, for example, over there, but we had it already, so didn't want to waste it. And then we're going to flare, so burn, if you wish, directly the heavy oil and the light oil. This will create pollution, as you can see, air pollution. So it's not that great. You know, at some point you don't want to do this. But again, to get us started, this is fine. Now looking at the resources, this is actually a bit more than what we have. We're gonna need to be careful, but let me build it and see you in a second. And of course, if you have any comments, thoughts about this layout, don't hesitate to share. I know there is a small problem in this one, which is that at the maximum, we're talking about 54 times 4, which is 216, and the pipe is actually limited to 200. So it's not going to be 100% efficient, but the reality is I really don't need all 4. So right now we're only going to build 2, and that should be totally enough. And by the way, another reason why I'm doing it, meaning, you know, flaring and dumping the sour water right now, instead of doing something with it like putting it into a boiler gas, is because this is what the mission is asking for. And I want to complete all the missions first, before we get into more advanced things. And here it is, I think this is starting. We have the boiler over here that has both water and coal, and the steam is starting to get into it. Beautiful white fumes. And now with this, we've started to give also some medium oil over here. So we're gonna make our first diesel, and we're also going to start making our first outputs. I just need to make sure that they are actually properly connected. It seems to go, but here no, I forgot some lines. Okay, so first sour water is arriving there and then going directly to be dumped over there. So it is perfect. Heavy oil and light oil, everything is burning. So with this, we're gonna have even more problems in terms of pollution and therefore health. But yeah, this is life. And then dump sour water. It is here. Why is it not going? Oh, I clicked on the wrong one. Sorry. Now this is going. Perfect. It is one more mission. The advanced oil producing is done. And the other thing that is done is our bridge over here. We have finally reached the limestone. Amazing. Now this limestone is still not so easy to get. There is a lot of water. One thing we can do is get this flat. But what I'm also going to do then is I'm going to continue sort of this bridge or this terraforming all the way over here. I want this water over here to disappear. I want to make it flat, maybe all the way over there for 2 reasons. Because I want to get all of this over here, but I also want to start getting into this iron there. I mean, we still have a lot over here, but still, this is a good thing for the future. Unfortunately, we don't really have right now something like a pump, because one thing I would love to do is, you know, I could close this off over here. Then I could close it off over there. And then if I could, I would pump all of this water. But unfortunately, this is not a mechanic in the game yet. I'm still hopeful this will come. So anyway, now that this is built, we can delete this. So it is done. As you can see, I've added dumping designation all over here. Try to connect all of this, not have water next to the limestone. And I've also added one excavator over here that's going to take care of all of these rocks that we dumped over here. And it can be dumped just over here right away. Now that this is working, we can also stop this one over there. And then over here on the coal mine, while we still have a couple that are focused on the actual coal, we do have quite a lot. You're almost at 2000 coal. So I'm going to also start the actual perfect mine. Because if we look at the layers, you have coals also over there. It's just deeper into the ground. That is why we're going to start towards over here, and we're gonna go deeper and deeper all the way over here. We're also going to start putting some walls. So if we go in our buildings for vehicles, we have those walls over there, short ones and long ones. We definitely want to go to long ones. I'm going to rotate it and put it exactly where the designation is finished. So what are those walls going to do? Well, basically the idea is when I start digging over here, the soil that is there is not gonna fall over. The walls are going to protect and keep all of this soil there, which is why you can see that those walls are actually underground. I'm not putting those walls above ground. I mean, I could, if you press E, you can put them above ground, but they will not do anything there. There's no point in putting, I mean, they could be visual there. But yeah, over here, that will definitely help. So we're gonna start doing this. For this first part, I'm doing quite a big ramp, to be honest, because I know that later we're gonna need to go deeper. So that is why the ramp is actually quite large. To build them, we need some iron that we have and some concrete slab that we've been getting thanks to this trade over here, not this one over there, against our wood, so all good there. But in the next episode, I think we're also going to start making some actual bricks from the limestone there. I hope you're excited. So yes, this mine is going to start there. Let's also improve our ship further. 200 iron. It is costly, but we do have that money. By the way, I'll also increase my number of fuel over here, both to help with the ship always having some, but also as a reserve for the diesel here. And you can see the weather is actually quite bad. My ship is moving and moving. But we're gonna keep it in the port right now. We're gonna wait for the weather to change before we go away somewhere. And in this episode, we actually haven't increased our food production, but we decrease our consumption by using this edict over here. We add a bit more unity thanks to the electricity over there, right? So that's how we got the unity to spend on this. And because of that, my food actually has been going back up. We do have a warning over here. These ones are a bit low, 22%. So we're gonna need to restart it. I think what I'm gonna do is we're gonna have 2 of these. We're going to put them from time to time. This is part of the rotation, and hopefully this should be fine. We have also unlocked now unit storage level 2. So instead of storing 180, this will store 360, so double. It will cost some construction part level 2 and some electronics. We have quite a bit, and it's not too high. So in particular over here for the key production of iron, I feel like this is a good investment. It is also literally double in height, so we definitely see where the storage goes. There was also a bit of water over here, so I'm dumping some resource there to try to close it. It was not the most important thing in the world, but I felt it was good to do it. And next to our neighborhood, I've also started to dump over here just to make it a bit of a flat area so that we can put, more houses later on. And I think this is a great way to finish this episode. A big battle. We killed 2 pirate ships. They were less strong than us, obviously, but yeah, that's a victory. With that, we don't really find much though. But yeah, I think that was a great end to this episode. We have stabilized our food, we're giving electricity to our people, we've upgraded significantly our copper production, it's magnificent now. Of course, as always, you'll find the blueprint on my Discord community. We move from the basic diesel production, which is wasting a lot of crude oil, to a bit more advanced one that you can see over here. It is not perfect, we'll improve it in the future. In particular, right now we're just flaring all the heavy oil and light oil, but it's still a big development. We have continued to discover a bit the map, and in particular we have found the first mine on this map, which is a sulfur mine. The bridge to limestone has finally been done, and so now we can start expanding and getting some limestone, and we're starting a really proper mine over here. We've also done a lot more research. In particular, we have unlocked new food. Over here, we have the bread and corn, and the other very important one is we have unlocked construction level 3. For the construction part level 3, we move from gold to red. But this will require steel, which we haven't started at all. We have unlocked the steel smelting though, it is over here. We're gonna take basically the molten iron, we're gonna add some oxygen to make some molten steel, with a big drop also from 24 to 12. And then we need to add more water to make some steel. So I think we'll probably also have to increase our water production, which right now is a bit limited. So as always, don't hesitate if you have any comments, questions, thoughts, to put them in the comments below or to join the Discord community to talk with other fans and myself. If you want to contribute, don't hesitate to check the first link in the video description below, which is the Patreon page. You can get a lot of nice benefits if you join. Smash the like button, and I hope to see you next time for episode 7.